What's up guys, welcome back to another YouTube video, and today I'll be showing you guys how to make these fleece shorts. It took me about 30 to 40 minutes. Now this pair of shorts was for a customer, so I don't have it in my hand. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do that. Give this video a thumbs up, and yeah, that's about it. I'll get right into the video. So here I'm just laying out my fabric. I want to make sure that the stretchiest side of the fabric is going horizontal. This gives you a lot of more room in your legs and thighs. So right here, I'm just laying out my sewing pattern. You can find this pattern linked in my bio. And I'm just using some washers that I get off Amazon to hold it down as sewing weights. And when sewing shorts, you want to make sure you mirror your item or your pattern. You want to make sure you mark it on one side, flip it to the other side, and mark it as well, just like you see me doing here. You want to do this for the front and the back. Now, if the audio sounds a little weird, I'm sorry guys. I just got a new computer and I'm trying to figure out the audio situation. I'm sorry for editing these videos. But here I'm just cutting everything out using my rotary cutter and my cutting mat. So after you cut everything out, you want to get all four of your pieces, and you want to match them right sides facing together, going front pieces together and back pieces together, and you want to pin them along the crotch area. Now, I highly recommend using clips. You can get away with this whole project by just using clips until you get to the waistband. I'll show you guys that. You'll see that during this video. I only pretty much use clips. So once you get everything pinned together, you want to do a straight stitch along the crotch area at 1/2 inch. Now, it's best to use color matching threads for each project that you use. I highly recommend that, so it makes it look more seamless. So yeah, you just want to do a straight stitch along the crotch area on both sides. Now it is a trick because I know it will be hard to get like a straight line when you sewing at a curve. So I'll show you guys a trick on how to get a straight line when sewing curves. So you want to cut a little slit inside the curve of the shorts at the crotch area. You just want to cut a small slit, as you can see me doing here. Now, when cutting the slit, you don't want anything too dramatic. You don't want to cut into your seam allowance to make a hole in the shorts. So you just want a very, very, very tiny slit, as you can see here. Something you can barely, like it's barely there. So after that, you want to clean up as you go. You want to trim all the excess edges off. Now here, I'm just showing you, it's very important to mark the front panel of your shorts so you can know which one is which, especially when dealing with this solid color fabric. You can get confused. So after that, you want to lay out your panels and you want to put them right sides facing together and clip along the bottom of that crotch area. So after you clip the bottom of the crotch area, you want to, well, you don't have to because I used to wait to do this, but you can clip the sides to make this a very fast process. So you don't have to go back and clip that after you already sewn. You could just do this all at once. And this is what that should look like once you're done. And you just want to take this to your sewing machine and you want to sew this at 1/2 inch. This is that seam guide that I was telling you guys about. This is a very strong magnetic seam guide. So you just attach this to the metal plate on your sewing machine and it helps you keep your fabric straight and from moving everywhere. It really does help. I don't use it as much as I would want to because I got a pretty good hold on keeping the fabric straight when I'm sewing. But yeah, I don't use it like this. This is for more for, beginners, I guess. I'm not saying I'm a professional, but I really don't use it like I thought I would use it. So yeah. But after that, this is what it should look like. And you just want to make sure you cut off the excess fabric and you can start sewing the side seam. Now that you have sewn off the side seams and you have cut off the excess fabric, it's time to do the waistband. So you just want to roll down the waistband area at the top. And me, I use a 1.5 inch elastic. So I always do a little more. So I measure the waistband to be 2 inches just for that extra seam allowance. Now, this is the only time that you'll be using sewing pins. So for this, I use sewing pins just because it makes it more easier and it makes it more faster and more secure, in my opinion, when it comes to the waistband. But you want to pin all four corners, the front, the back, and the sides. Doing it this way, make sure you have a even waistband all around, and then make sure that all your seams line up. Now you will have to fill in the blank spaces with pins, but this process just makes it way more faster, and it gives you a pretty much an accurate measurement all around. And this is what it should look like in the end once you pin everything. Now it's time to move on to the hems of the shorts. Now I realized I forgot that I was supposed to make these into like short shorts, so I didn't cut off the extra fabric that I was supposed to. These are about a 9 inch, but the short shorts are a 5 inch, so I have to cut off some extra fabric just by lining everything up, making sure the legs are even, measuring down from the crotch area 7 inches, and cutting off the remainder, which is about 2 to 3 inches. Now, when doing this step, you want to make sure you do this for both legs, but this is for anybody that wants to know how to make your shorts shorter. You literally just cut off the equal amount of fabric on both legs. But when doing this, I do recommend you use a yardstick. This makes everything easier and more even. And you can use those measurements on the cutting mat to help you along with this. Now it's time to do the hem of the shorts. You want to fold the shorts at the inseam of the shorts, and then you want to line up the same process to do the waistband. It's pretty much the same process here, but you just want to line up those two seams, the middle seam and the no, the inner seam and the side seam, as you can see me doing here. And you just want to use, you can use sewing pins for this, but I use clips to make this easier and more safe because I hate using sewing pins. But you just clip everything here, and I do a 1.5 inch hem at the bottom, sewing at 1/2 inch of seam allowance. And yeah, same process as the waistband you do here. So this is what it should look like once you're done clipping and pinning everything. And you just want to move this to your sewing machine. You want to remove the arm off the sewing machine. And I start off with the waistband. As you can see me pointing to the blue tape, those are like my custom measurements that I made up for my shorts. So, you know, this part you really don't have to follow, but it's the same process. You just choose your seam allowance. I have a custom, that's why I have that blue tape on my sewing machine. And I always start off with the backside, starting off sewing with the backside first because I want to hide that extra seam that you'll see. Now for the waistband, you want to start off with a front and back stitch. Now you want to remove the pins as you go, but the key to this is not to pull on the fabric to make it stretch in any way. And you want to make sure the fabric is not clumping up under the machine because you can stitch and sew extra parts of the shorts that you do not want sticking together. Believe me, I've done that multiple times. But when sewing the waistband, you want to leave a 2 inch hole. You can see mine's is way too small. You'll see the complications of that later on. So after you finish the waistband, you can just do the hems. Now for this process, you can just sew all the way through. Like I said, I'm sewing at 1/2 inch. So here's the elastic that I use for my shorts. It doesn't really matter what color. I normally use black, but they only had tan. I got this off Amazon. This is 1.5 inch elastic. Now for this project, I'm making this for a customer. The shorts were a waist size 34, and I just cut my elastic at a 33 to give you that, snug fit. When cutting your elastic, when you're doing an item as far as like waist size, you always want to cut it a little smaller than the waist size to give it that, professional look, first of all. And you want to make sure the elastic is doing its job by constricting the waist. So this tool that I'm showing you guys right here is an elastic threader. You use this to thread your elastic through your garments. Now I find this very, very helpful, way better than using a safety pin because you can stab yourself. That little ring around it makes it so it grips the fabric more tighter. You literally just use this the same as a safety pin. And this is the problem that I was running into with sewing a smaller hole. It makes it difficult to get the elastic in, but in the end, it end up working anyway. So I recommend doing a 2-inch gap when you're doing your waistband. So after you thread the elastic through, you want to make sure that the elastic is laying as flat as possible. Now I'm still struggling here because I made that hole too small. And after you thread it or get it through, you want to clip the ends to make it more even and neat. You want to just take it to your sewing machine, doing a straight stitch or zigzag stitch, um, running it about 6 to 7 times, and you want to cut off that extra fabric or that extra elastic. You want to just put it in your short, tuck it in, and make sure everything is laying flat. You want to seal up that gap that you left for the elastic. Now this is the final step. You just want to clean up everything, cut off any excess fabric you have, and just turn it right side out, and you want to do a top stitch over the main seams of the shorts, the side seam, the back seams, and you don't have to do the front seam at all. You just want to do a top stitch along those seams so you can secure the elastic in so it doesn't turn or ravel around while you're wearing them or washing them. So this is what it should look like. Make sure you, well, try to make sure you get it along the seams of the shorts so it can look like it's not there. And after that step, you'll be done. This is the final product and how they turned out. So yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys again for watching. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I have more videos coming out of me recreating like big fashion brands, recreating items and clothing from them. So if you don't want to miss out on that, stay tuned. Peace. Thank you guys again.